Well, hello once again. This is me, Leonard Wells, broadcasting from Haslingden, north of Manchester in the UK, on Saturday, the 9th of July 2010. I want to talk a little bit about transport. So for the next 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes maybe, I'm going to waffle about transport. When I was growing up in the 1940s in a town called Warrington, which then was in Lancashire but now is in Cheshire, thanks to Ted Heath's rearrangement of the government, of the local government setup. In those days, Warrington, midway between Liverpool and Manchester, we had trams, and a very good way of getting around from one part of the town to another. A tram works by electricity, as you all know. What you may not know is that a steel wheel on a steel rail is 600% more efficient at moving people than a rubber-tired wheel on a tarmac road. 600%. Can you imagine? Right. We made a mistake in the 1940s, 50s and 60s and decided to abandon the tram because oil was cheap and we thought we could run buses a lot cheaper than trams. Didn't matter that they were inefficient and gave off fumes and tended to kill people and hit bridges that they couldn't get under, and so on and so forth. So we started to scrap them. In Haslingden, they got rid of them in the 1930s. I think it was 1930 when the last tram ran here. That's 80 years ago. Now we'd give our eye teeth to have trams back. So that was then in the 1940s, 60, 70 years ago. And what a mistake we made when we decided to get rid of them and rely on buses and the personal private motor car. If you think about it, if you were to get yourself a cylinder of carbon monoxide gas and strap it to your back and go along the high street squirting it into the faces of the passers-by, or even into the prams with a baby in, you would very rapidly get arrested and end in jail, or if not, the funny farm somewhere. And quite rightly so. And yet, by law, you are entitled to get into a machine and go out and about in the streets, spraying everywhere with poisonous fumes, carbon monoxide and various other gases. Now, the only reason that we accept it is, first of all, because we're all blooming lazy and we like to travel about without using our legs, which God gave us to use. But secondly, because the gas is invisible. You can't see the cloud of gas that your machine is creating. If it was a blue gas, deep blue, you couldn't walk in the streets because you couldn't see where you were going if there was a lot of traffic. You wouldn't even be able, it wouldn't be safe to cross the road because you couldn't see what was coming. So put that in context and think about it when you see the traffic in the street. And then when you turn every street corner and see all these chunks of metal parked in the street, all in the bright, gaily different colours, rotting away, used maybe only for a few minutes, but parked out in the street, blocking everybody's passage. think about all those things. And then think about maybe 100 million people who have been killed on the roads in the world since the motor car was invented, and killed by motor cars and motor vehicles of all types. And the 500 million who've been seriously injured on our roads of the world since the motor car came into being. Yes, those are not exaggerated figures. Add to that all those people who've been poisoned by the invisible fumes which I've just been describing. And then add to that all those people who got overweight because they lost the use of their legs and became diabetic because of that, or had heart attacks early. Now, let me just add to that. You're sitting in your car, driving along, and you think, A, that you're safe, and you're comfortable and cosy. But what you don't appreciate is this. The air intake from your car is at the front of the vehicle, towards the front bumper. And where is the exhaust gas coming from the vehicle in front? It's coming from the rear. So you are effectively scooping up this poison gas, and it's coming into your car, and you're deeply breathing it in. Can you imagine? Yes, think about it. There's nothing more dangerous on the planet. You try getting hit by one at 40 miles an hour. You're almost certain to be killed. So, on top of everything else, the damned motor car is poisoning the planet. If we got rid of them and brought back the trams, and we all walked a lot, we would have clean, fresh air, quiet streets. You could step off the pavement without being frightened to death you were going to be run over. There wouldn't be the horrendous racket that comes from motor cars. We have people in our street with vehicles which sound like Centurion tanks with no silencer on. That's considered sporty, as they say. And people like Jeremy Clarkson like to hear that kind of noise. They're like little kids playing with motor cars. Boom, 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 you know? Have you ever noticed, ever watched their faces when they're driving those cars? They're completely gripped by them. Totally gripped by them. Yet I contend it is the most inefficient means of transport. Less than 10% of the energy in your fuel gets to the wheels. Most of it's spent heating the water for a start and overcoming rolling resistance. Right, I'm coming to the end now. God bless. I'm saying that while it's still legal to say God bless in this country. Cheerio for now. Try walking. Much, much healthier. Don't drive down to Tesco's. Walk to the corner shop. Be careful of what you breathe in as you go. All the best. Bye.